Someone just left a bunch of loose pepperoni chunks all over some lady's property. A bunch of zebras and camels just escaped a fire. And is Minnesota going to name a snowplow after Taylor Swift, Beyoncé, or Bobby McFerrin? There's a lot going on in our fair country right now, and your news refresh is here to cover all of the weird and interesting stories that we can find. Give us a quick subscribe on YouTube at The News Refresh to get more every day. Thanks. So let's start with the pepperoni.
Who goes around with 2 slabs of meat and a knife and cuts it up in the middle of the night and puts it all over somebody's yard and car?
That's a great question asked by this woman out of New Jersey, who says that her home was recently vandalized by someone armed with thick chunks of salted cured meat. In this security camera footage from last week, we can see some shadowy figures in black and white make their way to the woman's yard. The aftermath? A porch adorned by the remnants of a salami bris. Our woman here soon picked up the phone, not to order breadsticks, but to file a police report.
And I did look around and saw nobody else was hit. But it was, when the officer pulled up, I was in hysterics. Never got hit on mischief night, nothing. I've been here 16 years and I've never been hit before.
And it wasn't just that her front porch had been littered with extra toppings, the kind of which one local pizza joint charges at least $3 for. For one thing, the driver's side door of her car was keyed. In addition, her car was also covered in cat scratch marks from cats that climbed on top of it in order to get to the loose Italian food, which, to be fair, is not very out of character for certain cats. The cops are investigating everything that happened to this woman here, and believe it or not, this person has even been pinging local pizza places to probe whether people have pilfered their pepperonis.
I made a post on Manville People and Manville People with News asking if any of the local pizzerias were missing any of their pepperoni inventory.
This owner of a nearby pizza joint takes offense to this entire offense.
Who would want to waste such a precious commodity in this business? There's nothing more sacred than some pepperoni. Pepperoni of all things. You know, you got rotten tomatoes, right? That's always been historically the thing to throw at houses, but yeah, I guess they chose the cured meat route.
On his restaurant's Facebook page, he characterized these drive-by sausagers as nothing but charcuterists. In the comments, Bill Helmstetter called this a hate crime, Robert Stanicchio said sausage fest, LOL, and Danielle Marie drew attention to the 3-second rule. Don't waste that. Kiss it up God. It's still good. Shrug emoji. Our pepperoni woman here says she thinks there might be pending charges in the works, and also has a message for those thinking about making another unexpected delivery.
You are always on camera, number 1. Number 2, no matter what you do in life, whether good or bad, there is always a consequence.
It's worth pointing out that the United States has occasionally struggled with having unwanted pizzas on properties. After the character of Walter White flung a pizza onto his roof of Season 3, Episode 2 of Breaking Bad, the creator of the show had to ask people to stop flinging pies onto the actual homeowner's roof, saying on a podcast that Esquire listened to, "There's nothing original or funny or cool about throwing a pizza on this lady's roof. It's been done before. You're not the first." But even years after the show ended, the homeowners still struggled with rabid fans of peak TV, single-family housing, and dinner, and even told local news they began construction of a 6-foot-tall wrought iron fence to keep out breaking bandits. This house is now blurred out on Google Maps, but on TripAdvisor, there's a review of Walter White's house from December 2021, in which Shebeth02 shares a photo of the house, which is indeed adorned by fencing and a severed snowman head, and notes that when they went to take a quick photo, the owner came out, took a photo of my car, and called the police. Why buy a famous home if you didn't want people taking pictures, this user asks. Well, Beth, why chop up a pepperoni on someone's porch that attracts cats that ends up scratching someone's car? Because, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, I suppose you can. So this is shocking police body camera footage coming to you straight out of Indiana. And it involves an interstate closure, a fire, and as you can see here, some camels in custody. Huh? So over the weekend, according to this bulletin from Indiana State Police, a state trooper observed a semi-truck engulfed in flames in the middle of the night. And upon approach, it became clear that this truck's trailer had been transporting a bunch of circus animals. More cops get on the scene, and with cameras and zebras all covered in flashing police lights, this officer walks up to the flaming truck, aims the flashlight, and finds officers pulling out a miniature horse and another zebra. With those creatures out of the way, the officer with the camera then goes into the trailer to find yet another zebra. Fortunately, they all make it out.
Come on, let's go! Come on! Everybody get back! Is that it? Yes.
And the zebras, 5 in total, were all safe. Unlike those poor zebras from Fruit Stripe gum, which have unfortunately gone extinct. Cops say equipment failure led to this fire, and crews had to close off the roads to get everything cleaned up. The animals were herded right up on the highway, and officers, of course, took the opportunity to pose for some photos with Joe Camel and friends here, and the whole thing was resolved within a couple of hours. A second truck later arrived to take the animals to Fort Wayne for their appearance in the Mitzvah Shrine Circus. One circus, it's worth pointing out, that still features America's show camels, tigers, and elephants, in addition, of course, to the Globe of Death. That's in contrast to the world-famous Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, which, as we told you last year on your news refresh, has stopped using stunt animals following years of criticism from animal rights activists. An officer was treated at the hospital and released soon after for some smoke inhalation. And fortunately, all of the animals, a total of 5 zebras, 4 camels, and that miniature horse, were all secured and unharmed. But here's my question. Where the hell was that clown with the bottle of seltzer? 2024 is a big year for decision-making in the USA. As of right now, we're hurtling towards a presidential voting booth matchup that recent polling from the AP finds the vast majority of the public is not looking forward to. Sure, whether we remain something of a flawed democracy or trend towards something that resembles rule under an old English king we tried to get away from once remains an open question, but not the important question. And fortunately for us, that question is on the precipice of being solved. What should we call this snowplow? For the 4th year in a row, the Minnesota Department of Transportation has put out a call asking the public at large to name 8 of its fair snow plows. Crowd-winning names from years past include No More Mr. Ice Guy, Betty Whiteout, and of course, Plowy McPlowface. A tribute to a British boat naming contest from 2016 in which the public overwhelmingly voted to name a boat Boaty McBoatface. But that vote was thrown out in favor of the far less stupid RSS Sir David Attenborough research vessel, with a fleet that would later go on to include an autonomous submersible bearing that very stupid name. Anyway, if you think Boaty McBoatface is stupid, how about Who Let the Plows Out? That thankfully appears to be the only Baha Men earworm-inspired suggestion among the 49 finalists. But there sure are a lot of names drawn from our culture, popular or otherwise. When it comes to movies, there's Fast and Furious and Beauty and the Blade. For fans of the whimsy of Garrison Keillor, there's Make Snow Be Gone. And for the lovers of the smooth sounds of Bobby McFerrin himself, how about Don't Flurry, Be Happy? Now, there were some stipulations when it came to coming up with names for this heavy machinery. Nothing vulgar, nothing political, and no previous winners. So sorry, F. Salt Fitzgerald. Just focus on clearing a path towards that green light. You read The Great Gatsby, right? Anyway, there's still plenty to choose from. Like cute names including Just Scraping By, Oh, for Fleet's Sake, and I Came, I Thought, I Conquered. And more music options like Alice Cooper, Dolly Plowton, and Beyoncé. Not to mention 2 entries for our reigning queen of attention, Taylor Drift and Flake It Off. Well, on Twitter, Minnesota's governor just proudly revealed the 8 winners of this contest. And this year, yes, not only will Taylor Drift, Beyoncé, Dolly Plowton, and Fast and Furious be taking to Minnesota's snowy streets, they'll also be joined by Clark W. Bliswald, You're Killing Me Squalls, Wiepahinty Snowplow, and Barbie's Dream Plow. And Minnesota isn't the only state to ask its residents to take time out of their busy days to decide how to refer to a snowplow. The New Mexico Department of Transportation just held their inaugural Name a Snowplow contest, with winners including Sleetwood Mac, Snowplow Pilla, and Control Salt Delete. The same winning name from a 2021 contest in Minnesota, but hey, there are only so many snowplow-related puns out there, am I right? Minnesota plans to keep running its snowplow naming contest in the years to come, which makes sense considering the Department of Transportation spokesperson says they have 800 snowplows, which I guess means they'll need a lot more options. John Snowvolta, Snowpro Winfrey, Malia Snowbama. Do you see how easy this is? And hey, if anyone ever steals one of these plows and leads cops on a highway chase, that's Snow J. Simpson.